Hello there. Yes, you. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing awesome because I am doing absolutely wonderful. I just want to say welcome to In the Kitchen with Abeje TheAtre. This will be my very first episode and I have something awesome to share with you guys. 3 of my favorite juice recipes to use in this bad boy. First, I have the ultimate grapefruit juice, which is so delicious, you guys. After that comes Madam Pink Lady apple juice. And finally, aren't you glad about the name of this orange juice? And I'm telling you, all 3 of these juices are going to be so delicious. So let's go ahead and get started with the ultimate grapefruit juice. You are going to need 5 ingredients and they are 3 grapefruits. You can use white grapefruits, regular grapefruits, or ruby red grapefruits. Today I will be using ruby red because those are honestly my favorite. 2 navel oranges, 1 lemon, 1 green apple, and 1 piece of ginger. And I'll show you guys the size that I decided to use. So first you want to make sure that you have rinsed off all of your fruits thoroughly, and then you want to cut off the skin of your grapefruits and your lemon and oranges. Now, if you'll notice, there is still some skin on the oranges, but honestly, these oranges are so sweet that having a little bit of skin is not really a major concern. But what I do want to show you is that when it comes to the grapefruit, you kind of want to make sure you get almost all, if not all of that skin off. It's a naturally sour fruit, and then of course it has some sweetness in it, so you want the sour and the sweetness of the insides to really complement each other. But if you leave a lot of skin on, what you're gonna have is a lot of combative flavors instead of them working well together. So again, make sure you get almost all of that skin off. Now when it comes to the oranges, you can leave it on because it's not so bitter, because this is really sweet. For those of you who have never used a juicer before, I'll just go ahead and put that out here. The place where your pulp is going to be let out into, it's a good idea for you to line this with a bag, because cleaning this out will be just if you don't. This just is one little step that makes the cleaning process a lot easier. You can use trash bags, or honestly, when I go to the farmer's market, all the bags that you put your fruits and vegetables in, I tend to grab more than I need. So when I do, I just bring the rest home and line them, because they for sure have no holes in them. And I'll tell you, when I've used like plastic bags in the past, there would be some leaking in my trash can, because even if I double bagged it, there was still a hole somewhere. But with these, you never find a hole. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. There is no particular order for you to do this. I just throw them all in there. I know some people have an order, I don't. So I'm just gonna grab whatever's at the top of the bowl and start tossing it in. Let's go. Oh, also, make sure you cut your fruit small enough that it can fit in your hole, depending on the size of the juicer that you have. So before I even turn it on, I like to throw some of the stuff in there already. Boom. And everyone's juicer is different, so you'll have to, work with that. But anyways, okay, so this is my piece of ginger. As you can see, compared to my finger, it's about from there to the tip, and it's not that wide. So that's about the size of ginger you want to use. Anyways, last ingredient. And honestly, that little bit of ginger is like a splash. You can put in more because the grapefruit is so potent that it's harder for the presence of the ginger to take over. But I'm just gonna leave it at that little bit for now, okay? So what you will need is some kind of small little bowl to put in place of where your juice catcher is. Let me show you. So you see where it's catching? This is where all the juice came. You're going to need to put something there because more than likely this thing is still going to drip a little. And we don't want that to get on the counter, right? This next step is about removing all of that foam and frothiness that you see at the top. This is optional, not mandatory. I don't drink it. So what I have is a bowl and a strainer. The bowl is going to catch the juice, and of course the strainer is going to keep the frothy stuff from getting inside. So after you get all of that in, you just want to stir this around to get as much juice as possible into your container. So this is all the juice that we are left with the ultimate grapefruit. As you can see, there's still a little bit of foam, so if you want, you can take it through that process again. Just pour it back into the original thing it was in and then do the straining process. But I don't want to do that. I'm fine with all that I have been able to extract. So now I'm going to put it into my mason cup or mason jar. I'm just gonna drink that since it's not gonna fit into my mason jar. Oh my gosh. That is really good. Your finished product is gonna turn out something like this, which kind of reminds you of orange juice, right? It's because the ruby red grapefruits weren't as like ruby red on the inside. They were a little paler, but that's perfectly fine because it still tastes exactly like the ultimate grapefruit juice. I absolutely love this. If you are a citrus person, get you some of this. Of course, if you are deciding to do what I'm doing and juicing everything in one day so you don't have to come back, then you want to rinse off certain parts of your juicer just to get rid of the previous taste of the grapefruit juice. So I'm gonna do that really quick and I'll come back to you guys. Okay, so now we are moving on to juice number 2, which is Madam Pink Lady apple juice. These are the things you're going to need: 5 big pink lady apples, 3 dinosaur kale leaves, 1 cucumber or 2, 1 lemon, and another little piece of ginger around the same size as from the grapefruit juice. So let's go ahead and put this in the juicer, shall we? So let me tell you why we're using dinosaur kale instead of other kinds of kale. I like to use dinosaur kale because it is less frustration. With the other kales, there might be little pieces falling off. You gotta bundle them up to put them in here. You literally just put it in and you're good to go. Like, I love that. Again, I'm putting mine on high speed. Also, when making your juices, make sure you are staying conscious of how far this is getting filled up. I'll never forget one of the first times I used this, I was not paying attention and it actually overflowed. But now we're gonna go ahead to the sink to get all of that foam off the top. So as you guys can see, there is still a little foam left in the apple juice, but we are not going to worry about that. The container it was in when I poured it out again captured some of that foam, so we got rid of some more. What you don't want to ever do is get carried away with trying to get rid of the foam that you end up eliminating some juice. So I always say do not do the foam removal process more than 2 times because you don't want to make it less and less juice for you each time. See? Captured more foam. Let me drink this down so it doesn't spill. Honestly, you guys, this is really good. Oh my gosh. You can put a little more ginger in this as well because you really don't taste it at all. I just want it to be safe for the purposes of the video. When it comes to the ginger, you can use as much as you want. It's one of those things where you just have to add in a little bit at a time. See if you want some more, if you still want a little bit of a kick, a little bit of a oomph in your throat. One of the reasons I like to add kale into my apple juice is because I love the greenness of it, because a lot of times people see green juices and they're like, oh, it's nasty. And honestly, a lot of green juices I have tried are nasty, but I love putting kale in this because you don't taste the kale at all, and it's an absolutely delicious green juice. So you guys already know what I'm gonna do. Clean off this and then we'll come back for our last juice. All right, so now we are moving on to our very last juice, and that is Orange You Glad about the name of this orange juice. I'm so silly. Anyways, the recipe for this is very, very simple. You're just going to need 2 navel oranges. Then check this out. I just tasted these Mineola Tangelos and they are so good. Oh my gosh, I'm just like, these are amazing. They have more tanginess than navel oranges. Technically the recipe is 7 navel oranges, but I decided to get 2 navel oranges and 5 Mineola Tangelos because I want that extra kick of loveliness inside of this orange juice. Like, I'm telling you, if you get these Mineolos, you will not regret it. And then I've got another hint of ginger just to see if I want to add it in, and 1 to 2 lemons. Now the other thing that you can add in, which is very, very optional, is a handful of strawberries. Literally just a handful, just to give it a little extra pizzazz, but you don't have to add that in there. Without further ado though, let's go ahead and get started on this orange juice. Navel, navel. So again, you can either stop here with the orange juice that I have just created, or you can add in the handful of strawberries. What I'm gonna do is taste this orange juice really quick. Okay, so when I tell you guys that this orange juice is absolutely amazing, I kid you not, it is so good. Like, you taste the orange, but then those 2 lemons give you that nice citrusy, a little bit of sourness to it, and then there's the tanginess of the miniolas. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to even add any strawberries, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Just literally 1 handful, nothing more. Well, I mean, it's up to you. Nothing more, nothing less. Here is my handful of strawberries. Now my hands are small, so I'll say these are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strawberries. You know the next step. Sorry about that camera angle, you guys. Also, you might wonder why I'm turning my strainer around. That's to try to get the juice through as many open holes as possible before the foam takes over those holes. Okay, let me give it a try with the added strawberries. Ooh, okay. I made the right decision to add that handful of strawberries. So yeah, when you guys look at this, honestly, it just looks so tropical, and I absolutely love the color of this. Honestly, it almost looks like there are carrots in here, but there are not. All right, you guys, so we have got all 3 of our juices completed. We have the ultimate grapefruit juice, Madam Pink Lady apple juice, and Orange You Glad about the name of this orange juice. One reason I love using mason jars is because you can write on the tops of them just in case you get confused by the looks of your drinks. So with that being said, grapefruit juice, right? The LJ and AJ. So there you have it, you guys. These are my favorite juices to make with my juicer. They're absolutely delicious, and of course they are nutritious. Also guys, I want to point out that when you are done using your juicer, it's a really smart idea to go ahead and clean it right away. This isn't something that you want sitting until it's time for you to clean all the dishes. Just go ahead and get it done. So I recommend you use this because it's very good for brushing out that fruit. So that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed In the Kitchen, and remember, the kitchen is always the place where you can be most creative.